Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about twin pregnancy. So I have never done a video like this. When I was pregnant with my twins, I did weekly pregnancy vlogs. You can see all of those over on my other channel, This Gathered Nest. I will actually leave a link to the pregnancy vlog playlist if you just want to binge watch pregnancy vlogs, then I'll leave that link over there. But something that I realized is, it's been obviously like 16 months since the twins were born. And I look back at my twin pregnancy and there's just so many things that I was so scared about, I didn't know about, I worried about. I did so much Googling and so much searching for other moms on YouTube who were pregnant with twins or had been. And if you ever made a YouTube video and you were pregnant with twins, I can almost guarantee you I've watched your video, because in the beginning, especially when I was just sick and in bed, I did nothing but watch other people's twin pregnancy videos to try to brace myself, because I didn't know what to expect. And to be totally honest, I was a little bit terrified too. So also, that's my spine creaking against this chair. I am not, in fact, tooting through this whole video. I promise. It's my spine. I need better posture. I have really terrible posture. Ooh, stop it. Anywho, that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you are pregnant with twins, if you are, doing something, you think you might be pregnant with twins, they run in your family, you're just wishing, hoping, praying for twins, we're going to talk all about it, really just more my advice and tips if you are pregnant with twins. In case you're new here and you don't know, I had twin girls in July of 2017. They were born at 36 weeks and 1 day. They came on their own. I went into labor on my own. I say that a little bit of quotations because I went in, my blood pressure was in the hospital, sent home, came back the next morning to have my blood pressure checked. They checked my cervix. I was at a 4, but my blood pressure was still high, so they sent me to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, I was having pretty regular contractions. They weren't super painful. And then my midwife gave me what I will call an aggressive cervical check. And immediately after that, I was in full-blown labor. So I've never had a membrane sweep. I would imagine it was kind of like that. I think she was just trying to get me going because I'd been in and out, in and out, in and out, and she was just it's time. But anyway, so I didn't have any Pitocin or anything like that. So they made it to 36 weeks in 1 day, and my pregnancy in the beginning was super rough. I've had hyperemesis with all of my pregnancies, but I absolutely had it times about 1,000,000 with the twins. And so I didn't have a super great pregnancy. So some people will, and some people have super easy pregnancies and it won't be much different than their singletons, and everyone's experience is different. So I can only share with you mine. And yeah, just use it to compare and contrast everyone else's, and you'll fall somewhere around there. Maybe like mine, maybe yours will be breezy like someone else's. Who knows? Okay, number 1, rest, and then rest some more. You literally cannot rest enough. Not only are you growing human beings, you're growing 2 of them. 2 hearts, 2 sets of lungs, 2 sets of bones. Babies are born with 300 and something bones. You have to grow all that. Your body has to grow all of that out of cells. So it takes a lot of energy, energy inside your body to do all of that. So you need as much rest as possible. I don't know what your lifestyle is like. Obviously, I can't know that for everybody. I was pretty much laid up on bed rest in the beginning because of how sick I was. I was in the hospital and all of that. So I got ample rest. But even throughout the rest of my pregnancy, once my husband went back to work and I had 5 other kids to care for, I had to set a lot of things aside and not worry about things as much as I normally would in order to give my body the rest it needed, because my body did not tolerate if I didn't give it rest. If I tried to push it, it would fire back. So I took, especially towards the end, I took almost nearly daily baths, bubble baths. I haven't taken a bath, I don't think, since the twins were born. Maybe 1. But when I was pregnant with them, I took a bath pretty much every single day because it was the only way to relieve some of the pain as I got bigger and bigger and bigger, but also just throughout the pregnancy I was having tailbone pains and all kinds of things. So the rest, the things like that you can do to take care of yourself, super important. People might disagree with me, but like if your kiddos need to watch, if your other children need to, if you have them, need to watch a little more TV than usual, or play on the iPad a little longer, or you need to, if you financially can call in backup to hire a sitter or something, like whatever you got to do. I feel like with twin pregnancy, it was survival more than any of my other pregnancies. I just did what I had to do to get through it. Number 2, and don't take this personally if you're in my life and you have loved me well, because I have appreciated it so much. But people won't understand. They think that they do. And I was one of those people when I had a singleton, and I remember I knew a couple girls that had twins. And I remember thinking a little bit like, maybe they're making like a little bit bigger deal out of this than it really is. Like, I mean, it's a natural thing that can happen. It's, you know, people just don't, it's just very, very hard to understand until you've walked it. And that's a truth for a lot of things in life, but it's absolutely the truth for twin pregnancy. I just had no idea what it was actually like and what it's like to have two human beings inside of you twirling around, punching each other, kicking each other, playing Miss Mary Mac. I don't even know, hopscotch. I don't know what they're doing in there, but it's rough at times. There are times that you're going to feel like somebody's about to cram a foot right out your beehole, like, or the other one. I mean, and sometimes even like up and out your throat. You just don't even realize, like with 2 people in there, all the arms and legs and everything. It's like having an octopus inside of you. That sounds really gross, but it's the truth. So because people don't understand, again, this is another area in which you need to give yourself a lot of grace, and not that you shouldn't take people's advice, because here I am making an advice video. But you should take it with a grain of salt, mine included. So the third thing, this is the big one. This is one that I had to fight against so hard, which is to avoid comparison. When you start following other people who are pregnant with twins, who have had twins, you start looking at things like, oh, well, they don't seem to like gain a bunch of weight, or, oh, look, she didn't get any stretch marks, or, oh, look, everything's fine with her babies, her pregnancy. She seems to be just bebopping around totally fine. And here I am, like, struggling to get through the day. You just have to, just like with anything, pregnancy is different for everyone, and you have to avoid the temptation to compare your twin pregnancy to someone else's twin pregnancy. Because like I said, some people will, through no fault of their own and no overeating of their own, gain a lot of weight when they're pregnant with twins. They'll get huge. Other people, their limbs, their arms, their legs will get smaller. They'll lose weight in their body and they'll put it all in their belly. Like, everyone's body treats these things a little bit differently. And so you just can't know what's going to happen with your body. And you, again, just need to avoid the trap of comparison and give yourself as much grace as you possibly can to just grow people. That's it. Just wake up, eat food as best you can, and grow people. My 4th piece of advice would be to lean into the journey. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, I'm meaning that there can be a temptation to resist like, oh, I don't want to feel this way. Oh, I don't want to be like, it's just, there's so many things that I think I tried to like control, and I just needed to let go of the control and just lean into it and accept it. Accept that my body was not going to be a happy, fluffy, pregnant person. I was going to be a potato pregnant person. You got to accept it. If you're a potato pregnant person, we accept it and we just carry on, because at the end of the day, we get the beautiful prize of a baby or 2, and it's totally worth it. But just being able to like really, really like lean in and accept the things that you cannot change, and to keep doing your best every day. And turns out your best is to like grow humans, which is like a superpower. So congratulations, your best is more than enough. Number 5 would be to take pictures and video, even if you cannot stand the way that you look or feel or whatever. This was something that I'm so mad at myself for. I only have a handful of pictures from when I was pregnant. I did take a lot more photos, like before I would get in the bath, like, you know, where like nudie photos, that sounds gross. That's not like nudie photos, but like things I wouldn't share on social media, but that I wanted for myself. But because I felt so miserable, I just didn't do a good job of taking a lot of pictures. And so I'm disappointed with that. And also, like, when we look back at our vlogs, I'm like, man, I hid from the camera when we were doing video. Like, I just didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be, because I felt so miserable, and I felt like what I felt like on the inside was coming out on the outside, and it just was kind of like bleh. So I wish, looking back, that even though I was kind of crazy hot mess, that I would have had more pictures and video. So if you're tempted to shy away, try not to do that. I think you will regret it later. You might not, but I did. So that's a piece of advice from me to you. Next would be to advocate for yourself. When you are pregnant with twins, it's automatically, I mean, you would think that you were pregnant with a alien baby, because that's what doctors are often going to treat you like. You are now all of a sudden like crazy high risk, and you don't get any say in anything. They're going to tell you what to do. And I'm all for like finding a doctor you respect so that you can, you know, communicate that way and you're not being disrespectful and back and forth, but they need to respect you too. And so you are allowed to make choices for yourself in your pregnancy and in your delivery. That was something I was really, really adamant about, was that I did not want a C-section. I had had 2 previous vaginal births. I knew the Queen Mother, as I like to call her now, I knew the Queen Mother could do it. And I found a doctor that believed in the Queen Mother too. And she was amazing. And somebody's interrupting me. I don't know why. Who is that?
Me?
I'm filming, Duda. Love you. Bye. Close the door, okay? I found a doctor who believed in the Queen Mother too, and it made all the difference in the world, because when I went to deliver those twins, the first day I had a doctor who was, they called him the Cutter. Okay, they called him the Cutter because he loved to do C-sections. I can't. There's so many things I could say, but I'm not gonna. And I really, I begged these babies in my head, laying in there in that triage room, please do not come right now. Please stop the contractions. I do not want this man to deliver my children. And they stopped. The next day I went back. It was the doctor who I loved. And even though all of a sudden my babies had been head down forever, baby B turned breech, but she said, let's talk about it. We talked it through. She gave me the risks and agreed to support me in my decision to still go for a vaginal delivery. Again, that would have been the 4th baby to come out of the Queen Mother, and I felt pretty confident that she could let that baby out feet first and we'd be A-okay. Breech is a variation of normal, and so a lot of doctors won't deliver breech babies. You've got to get with your doctor on that. You've got to be on the same page, but my point is to advocate for it yourself, because no one else is going to care as much about your experience and your baby's experience and all that as you are. End of the day, their jobs might be on the line, but this is your child, so no one is going to care about them as much as you do and the outcome as much as you do. So just advocate for yourself. Advocate for yourself. The next few things I would say, these are after the babies are here. I want you to know that recovery from a twin pregnancy can be very long. Very long. My babies are 16 months old and I still do not fully feel like myself. Even though the number on the scale is the same or even a couple pounds lighter than it was when I got pregnant with them, doesn't matter. My body doesn't look anything like it used to, and it doesn't feel put together the same way. Things shifted and moved inside, and it just doesn't feel the same. So it takes a long, long time. Even when I try to do workouts that require ab work, forget about it. My abs are just they don't like it. So recovery is long. Give yourself lots and lots of grace in that. I even had a really hard time with back pain and stuff after because of my epidural, because I was so it was really hard to get my epidural in because of the position of the babies, and I couldn't really bend over well. So it took a lot of pokes to get my epidural in. It wasn't pretty. It didn't feel great. And afterwards, I had a lot of pain from that. I actually had to take pain medication after they were born that I never would have had to have taken for a vaginal delivery. It wasn't for the Queen Mother. It was for my back. So it was just, I had a lot of crazy, weird pains after. And I will say, in case you're worried, the Queen Mother healed up very nicely. She's great. As a matter of fact, after I delivered 2 babies, I feel like she went back to her normal self faster than she did with either one of my singleton deliveries. Probably because my twins were each only barely 5 pounds and 4 pounds each. But still, 2 came out of there and she still went back to being herself. So I'm just saying, if you're worried about that, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Anyway, breastfeeding twins is hard. I was cocky. I was real cocky. I'd breastfed Kennedy for a year and Shelby till she was almost 2. And I'd had no problems breastfeeding. I was a huge breastfeeding advocate in my mind. And I just figured I'm gonna be one of those who breastfeeds twins. It's gonna be awesome. and it was not awesome. It was super, super hard. I had 2 babies that were early, that were sleepy, that didn't, one baby that latched like a shark and one baby that didn't latch very well at all. My body only ever seemed to want to produce enough milk for one baby, no matter how much I pumped and I took supplements and I nursed them tandem, even though it made my sensory disorder like go bananas. I had a really, really hard time nursing 2 babies, and I spent a lot of time beating myself up. And I don't want that for you. So I just want you to prepare yourself that even if you've had great success in nursing singletons, it doesn't mean that breastfeeding twins will come as easily as you might hope. And it might be amazing and perfect and great, but it also might not. And I just want you to prepare yourself for both, because I don't think I did an adequate job of preparing. I don't think I did an adequate job of preparing myself for the emotions of it not going how I wanted it to. And then my very last piece of advice across the board, from pregnancy to birth to postpartum to the first year, all of it, is just to savor it as much as you can. It is so hard, and it is so tempting to fall into the trap of just like the survival trap. And I get it. I was there too, but just trying so hard to savor it. Savor the feelings of the babies growing inside of you. Savor them when they're safe inside your belly and you don't have to share them with anybody else. Savor when they're teeny tiny little squawky little newborns and they can both fit inside. Oh, I missed this. They can both fit inside your bra, snuggled up on your boobs. My boobs were ginormous, and I'd put a baby on this one, a baby on this one, and they would just sleep so happily there. And I miss that so much. I would give anything in the world. I would pay any amount of money to go back and feel that one more time, just to snuggle them both right there one more time. It was magic. Savor it as best you can. It will go by so fast. My girls are 16 months old, and even though I know the world says that they're like toddlers, they're not babies anymore, they still very much feel like babies to me, but it might also be because in my mind I'm keeping them babies because I don't want them to grow up. So it's a little Peter Pan-ish over here, but it's fine. So those are my tips and advice if you are pregnant with twins. If you have just found out, congratulations. It's going to be scary, but it's going to be amazing. So buckle up, sister. And if you already have your twins and we're fellow like twin mamas, then I love that. There's just a connection. Twin moms, it's a connection. It's just like with adoptive moms. Like I feel like anything that is a little bit outside of normal that not everyone experiences gives us like extra little prongs of connection with each other. And I love that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you know a twin mama that this might help, feel free to share it with her. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you again very soon.